Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review as we bring you the latest from Michael Bay's production company, Platinum Dunes, Songbird, starring Sofia Carson, Craig Robinson, Demi Moore, Bradley Whitfield, and KJ Apai. Apai? It's one of those two. I'm not sure, sir, but I'm sorry that I mispronounced your name, because I've never heard of you, and I don't think I've ever seen a film with you in it. That's not the reason I mispronounced the name, it's just that I can't remember a film with you in it. But quickly, the synopsis. In 2024, COVID-23 ravages the world and its cities, centering on a handful of people as they navigate the obstacles currently hindering society, such as disease, martial law, and quarantine. Songbird delivers... No, I'm not finishing that synopsis. Not at all. I had to stop. I'm sorry. I could not take that synopsis seriously as much as I can't take this movie seriously in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But let's just say this was the first movie shot during quarantine. I remembered when the screenplay was sold and when they were doing everything. Adam Mason, who was the director, and I think he's the writer of this too. So I remember when the screenplay was sold and the idea that Michael Bay was going to be involved in a movie concerning COVID and shoot it during a pandemic. All of that, I said, wow, this sounds extremely interesting. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Turns out, not that bad. Not that bad. It is a silly movie, but it's not necessarily a horrible movie to watch. But it's going to be difficult for some people to get past the point that at time it just feels inappropriate to release a film about a virus that we are currently going through, but then you progress and mutate the virus to make it more deadlier than it is currently now. That's going to be hard for lots of people to watch. But if you are someone who likes disaster movies, the 2012 or the day day after tomorrow or anything of that nature, this is equivalent to that. It is at its core, it is a disaster film with a bunch of hammed up performances in it. Nothing overly special here. I can't tell you that the plot is important. It is not. They shoehorn a love story in here that feels 1,000% unnecessary. What I can say though, for this movie to be shot during the pandemic, I have to give Mr. Adam Mason a lot of credit here because the film looks good. It looks really good. And this is a low budget film. This is not a high budget film, and he pulls off some very slick shots. I think they did a great job with camera work here. I really enjoyed it. Like it's not great, but for the times that we are in, especially the times we were in then when they shot this movie, I'm just amazed they managed to pull this off. Like, it looks really, really good. Like, we've seen other people try to pull things off during the pandemic, and it looked cheesy. At no point in time did this not look like a slick thriller. It's hammed up every way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, none of the characters' motives even make sense in this movie, but it is still escapism at its best. That's why I said a disaster film, because that's what this is a disaster film. It is a plague-ridden film for everybody out there who, in all honesty, are terrified, absolutely terrified of watching a movie that deals with COVID being mutated. I kind of find it odd for people then who watch Contagion, or either the show on Netflix when the pandemic started, or the movie when we were going through a similar type of pandemic and they released a movie about it. But this one just it feels out of place. It feels too soon. Maybe if they did this next year, 2022, maybe it would feel different. But we are currently going through a pandemic, and you release a movie about a pandemic. While granted, I think they did an amazing job for this movie of not focusing on a pandemic. They focus on the human element of it and They just happen not to show the best humans to focus on the human element of a film. It makes no sense. But it is still highly enjoyable in all its silliness. Nothing serious about this movie. In all its silliness, it is highly enjoyable. And maybe people want to check it out. I have nothing else to say about this movie. Nothing else to say about this movie. Songbird, out of a possible 10, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's enjoyable. There are no good performance in this film. I'm more amazed that this film was shot during a pandemic and looks as good as it is, but that doesn't mean I believe the direction is top notch. I don't believe anything in this movie is top notch, but I don't think it needs to be. This is a type of film that's just brought up just to like, hey, let's escape for a minute and imagine things being worse, and then sending a message of hope for humanity. But boy, do they miss the mark of it being hope for humanity, because the people in this movie are not likable. So there's no hope for humanity when the people aren't likable. But check it out. Songbird. It dropped on December 11th, so it's available currently on every VOD platform. Check it out. Let us know what you think about it. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you absolutely hated it. But let us know. Maybe I can get Sam to watch it. Maybe. And then maybe we can have a discussion on why was this movie even made, which could be way more interesting than the movie. But again, this has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.